With regard to the other part of the question about the exposure of the banking sector to the to one particular business conglomerate, we have issued a press release on last Friday. I have nothing more to add to that. Individual cases and their numbers, as you are aware, we do not discuss in the public domain. Having said that, let me mention in addition, because so many questions are being raised in the public domain. In the last 3 to 4 years, the Reserve Bank has taken a number of steps to strengthen the resilience of Indian banks. We have come out with clear guidelines to regulate the governance in Indian banks. We have issued guidelines about the functioning of the audit committees. We have issued guidelines for the functioning of the risk management committees. We have now made it mandatory for appointment of chief risk officer in banks. We have also made it mandatory for appointment of chief compliance officers of the banks, and we have given through our regulations the desired level of autonomy to the chief risk officer and the chief compliance officer with regard to his functioning within the bank. The chief risk officer, for example, reports directly to the audit committee. And there's so many other regulations which I am not going into. We have also rationalized in the last 2 years the large exposure norms, and all that I would like to add at this point of time that the Indian banking sector, including the the NBFC sector, since you referred to a couple of them, the Indian banking sector and the NBFC sector continue to be resilient and strong. We have made our own assessment. I mean, other agencies make their own assessments. In the Reserve Bank, we have made our own assessments. And I have said whatever I just said a little while ago and whatever we said in the press note based on our assessment. The large exposure guidelines prescribed by the RBI are fully complied with by all the banks. And so far as the, Indian banking system now, the total, the strength, the size and the resilience of the Indian banking system is now much larger and much stronger to be affected by, an individual incident or a case like this. The banking system is strong, and also you saw I think this whole perception is coming because of the market capitalization of the shares of the group. When banks lend money to a company or to a group of companies, the banks do not lend on the basis of market capitalization of that particular company. The banks lend on the basis of the strength of their company, the fundamentals of their company, or the strength and the fundamentals of their analysis if it's a greenfield project, the anticipated cash flows, and so many other things go into the appraisal of the banks. And the appraisal methods of Indian banks have significantly improved over the years. So I think I would just reiterate again that the banking system is stable, continues to be strong. DG Jain, would you like to add anything?
Governor has already explained that our domestic bank's exposure is against the underlying assets, the operating cash flows, and the projects under implementation, and not based on the market cap. The exposure as of now is not very significant across all the banks and the NBFCs as well. The exposure against shares of the domestic banks is insignificant.